So where we are today is this notion of disintermediation and democratization, and it's really a product of all that. So what about the public? The public is eager to hear someone explain to them what they should care about. They are eager for leadership. They are eager to hear the truth, and they are insistent that they hear it in a way that they think is unfiltered. So we go back to my new pathway to the public, and it becomes important for us to understand that we have as important a role in that as the other 4 seats in that room. We become the deliverers of wisdom in any large transaction, in any large company, only if we begin to adopt to the 21st century and make the case that we have wisdom about the public and that we have values as in our own companies that they can trust in us to deliver that. It becomes a very, very important thing. So let's take a little further look at some of the things that we're looking at as we go forward. Most of the larger PR firms now are investing actively and aggressively in digital, social media tools to help people go down this new pathway. It is something that we are selling aggressively, and it is a critical part of our offering. I believe, and we've done this at Hill and Knowlton, that a critical component of that and a critical comparison of that is by doing research. I believe that measurement is as important to digital and social media as digital and social media is to the future ways of communicating. Now, what's that going to do to the industry going forward? There are more and more people predicting that all ads and all methods of communicating with the public are going to be on some form of device. It's not going to necessarily be on the pages of the New York Times. So when you look at the numbers from the experts that watch these trends, they will tell you that over the next 5 years, your mobile device will be increasingly where you get most of your information, or your iPad, or your tablet. That's moving away from the computer, and certainly moving away from the traditional things that I mentioned to you in the beginning. So what does that mean for all of us as professionals? Well, it's going to have some pretty major impacts on things. So for one thing, we have now in this industry a really partnership that is between advertising firms and PR firms. In our case at WPP, we own both. We own probably more than anyone in the world. The advertising firms have as a business practice to go to a client and to produce an ad for you, sometimes based on research, that is a very expensive method of communicating with the public. That ad is then placed into a medium. So think about what's going on with that. That ad might cost $300,000 or $400,000 to produce. Think of Super Bowl ads, and think of watching Super Bowl ads. Well, going forward, if the trends are in place that I believe are in place, those ads are going to be seen in an entirely different form. They may still be on television, but there's a whole new world out there, and that new world out there is going to change the face of everything we know today as the traditional platforms of these agencies. So you have the advertising firms that are moving aggressively to deal with this. So what does that mean for the public relations business? What does that mean for the public relations firms? I believe if you have the right model in a public relations firm, you'll be the beneficiary of a lot of this. If you have, like we do and many of the other firms do, a digital and social media practice where you can advise people on how to reach the public using this new highway, and you can measure it, you're in a position to reach the public in a more efficient, in a cheaper, and a more targeted way than the traditions of communicating with the public in the past. Does that mean we're all about to go rush into the advertising business? I don't know. What it does mean is that we have, as a platform, an ability to represent ourselves as being closer to the public and closer to understanding the public in this world that we're living in than probably any of the other players sitting around the table.